With the 17 Sustainable Development Goals developed by the United Nations, there's no doubt that each one of the goals is extremely important for the development of mankind to achieve Type 1 civilization in the KLESF scale. Sustainable Development Goal 11 is the one I am going to focus on, which stands for making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Firstly, to really understand the Sustainable Development Goal 11, we have to look at some statistics. According to CNBC, 55% of the world's population is living in an urban or city area, and that percentage is projected to grow to 70% of the world's population in 2050. So, it is apparent that we have to make cities sustainable and safe in order for our future to be safe and to provide security. The first thing to do is to recognize that climate change has been haunting us since the 19th century, where ice melt in poles, as well as an exponential increase in the release of greenhouse gases. Climate change is leading to depletions in water supplies, as well as pollution of rivers, which in turn disrupts the water supply, as seen in Selangor, Malaysia for the past few months. To solve this, we should have an increase in projects in eco-architecture to design buildings that integrate into nature and work with the environment, such as vertical forests in Singapore's Marina One vertical forest scheme, or eco-forests like Malaysia's KL Forest Eco Park. This promotes the awareness of climate change and being aware of the importance of sustainable cities and knowing that we can integrate green into cities' buildings. Urban forests like the eco-forests expose us to nature, and this allows us to feel better emotionally and also contributes to our well-being and reduces mortality. This allows us to be resilient, and it creates a happy learning and happy working environment. Besides that, we can reduce the amount of carbon dioxide emission in each country, which in turn will reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and slow down climate change. The IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, states that a 1.5 degrees Celsius average rise will put 30% of species at risk of extinction, and with a 2 degrees Celsius rise, most ecosystems will struggle. To combat against this, governments should focus more on harnessing energy from renewable sources instead of fossil fuels, which are non-renewable sources that require combustion. Renewable energy like solar, wind, and tidal energy are a great example of renewable sources. Governments could also set up incentives to projects to investigate a more efficient and sustainable way to mine lithium from the earth. The lithium can then be used to build battery packs to store electrical energy. Sustainable cities like Curitiba in Brazil also use public transport instead of private cars, as well as integrating bus routes and cycle paths into urban life in the city. There are, no doubt, countless of ways to address the Sustainable Development Goals, such as the suggestions I proposed or any other suggestions made by other people. One thing to note is that we should all focus on long-term sustainability and long-term gratification instead of being caught up in the midst of short-term gratification, because we know that only long-term gratification and having a long-term vision will properly improve the country as a whole and make the world a more sustainable place. With all the opportunities and resources laid before us, how will we be sustainable?